Hey guys, today we'll be going over the integration of modern neuroscience into our education system. Before we start, we have to recognize that the neurobiology of learning and memory is complex. Even just sitting here watching this video, thousands upon thousands of molecular reactions are occurring, a whole swath of cells are completely restructuring themselves, and genomic cascades are occurring right now just to record this memory. This can be a hard subject to visualize, so I've provided a couple of visuals. This video showcases cells fluorescing in response to activation. This video showcases some of the wonders regarding learning. Even in a petri dish, neurons manage to make connections with one another. Lastly, and by far my favorite, this video captured a bunch of neurons growing in response to a fine motor task. This one's absolutely beautiful. So if that's the case, then how have our educational systems responded? Well, not all that much. Structure as they did nearly 100 years ago. Additionally, our educational systems have only just started to acknowledge the biological and psychological aspects associated with learning. This acknowledgement is finally being seen in the push to push back school starting time. This was done to account for student sleeping schedules, and that's a really great step because sleeping schedules are a really important biological factor in terms of learning. While this is a great first step, we still have a lot to go. There are many changes that could be done to our educational system that could greatly increase learning and retention for future students. Firstly, the addition of ventilation systems. I know that sounds kind of odd, but the air we breathe has incredible effects on our cognition. Firstly, the addition of ventilation systems. I know that sounds kind of odd, but the air we breathe has incredible and profound impacts on our ability to retain information and cognition itself. In fact, concentrated levels of CO2 have actually been correlated with drowsiness, lower levels of higher decision making, and even at really high levels, cell death. There have even been associations with high levels of carbon dioxide and student attendance in classrooms. And most problematically of all this, studies have shown that most American classrooms don't meet WHO guidelines in terms of ventilation and air quality. Improving our ventilation systems would likely greatly improve our education without making too many changes to the education system itself. Secondly, the fight against what is nearly epidemic levels of neuroinflammation can improve upon our education system. Neuroinflammation is defined as the activation of cytokines and immune cells in the CNS, which is the brain and spinal cord. Causes of neuroinflammation have been linked to high-fat diets, high-carb diets, lack of exercise, and stress. Additionally, neuroinflammation has been associated with a swath of pathologies, including but not limited to depression, ADHD, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, and other neurodegenerative diseases. Pushing for diet and lifestyle changes within our school systems to combat neuroinflammation is another way we can positively influence our educational system without altering the education itself. The issues of neuroinflammation can be combated through the addition of healthy fats into our diet, regular exercise, and counseling and mental health services to help combat the issues associated with stress. As previously mentioned, diet can have huge implications in cognitive outcomes. We have a massive market around workout supplementation, selling products like pre-workout protein and creatine to enhance the effects from a single workout session. While there is a diet and supplementation schedule that gym goers can ascribe to, students and those seeking to learn have no diet to ascribe to when looking to improve learning outcomes. I believe that in order to improve educational outcomes, we need to start looking at new substances that can efficiently improve a single learning session. Believe it or not, we already know of a couple substances that are capable of doing so. The first substance on the list that we'll be looking at are ampakines. In this study, ampakines have shown to increase BDNF in animal models. BDNF has been shown to be one of the most influential molecules to learning and memory. Increases of BDNF have been correlated with better memory definition and long-term retention outcomes. In another study, ampakines' effectiveness is seen through its ability to increase ionic flow in neurons. Ionic flow is one of the most important mediators in neuronal communication. Increases in ion flow are correlated with memory retention and long-term outcomes. In terms of learning and memory, another drug of interest is D-cycloserine. One of the most important molecules in memory is the NMDA receptor. The NMDA receptor mediates many of the effects regarding memory. Without them, memory retention is severely impacted. D-cycloserine binds NMDA molecules, upregulating the effects the receptor is responsible for. One study showed that animals were able to create memories of fear extinction faster on D-cycloserine than without. In fact, these findings of accelerated fear learning translated to humans too, with studies finding subjects who took D-cycloserine overcoming their fear of heights faster than subjects who didn't. While these drugs offer a promising start, they don't come without their own problems and risks. I like to look at these drugs as more of a precursor to more powerful pharmaceuticals down the road. Researching these kind of drugs could potentially revolutionize the field of education, providing us with the technology to make more complex subjects simpler to learn. These findings are a start to a future in pharmaceutically aided learning. Even just a visual look at the technological advancement in the past century, it's quite astonishing. Looking at cars, we can see a huge difference. Looking at supercomputers, we can see that we've now created computers that are trillions and trillions of times more powerful. But when looking at the classroom, it's almost virtually identical. It's time that we start looking at the educational system as a technology just like everything else that needs advancement and change.